Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the NS9 Postgame Show. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we got Connor.
Hello.
Connor, buddy, pal. The Pirates won today 7-4. How does it feel?
It feels really good. Weird game. Like at first glance, it doesn't seem so weird. But like when you actually dive into it, they had the Pirates offense was getting perfectoed through 5.
Yes.
They then proceeded to put 18 runners on base and score 7 runs in 4 innings.
No, I mean, you nailed that. Absolutely. It was one of those where, okay, I want to know your mind frame, right? So you're sitting here watching the game, knowing you have to do the post game.
Oh, like you mentioned, it's absolutely something that goes through your head where it's just like, should I like take a nap and just like we set an alarm for like an hour and a half from now? Like, because I genuinely considered doing that after 3 innings, and I was just like, I can just look at the box score because I know they're not going to win this. And I mean, thankfully, I decided not to.
How many times have we joked where this is one of those games where we could pre-record the post game and hit play when it's done, right? You just say, okay, the Pirates offense didn't show up. Yep. Pitching did whatever. No, I mean, you're right. Like Mitch Keller actually was pitching pretty well today. That was a plus. But you look on the other side, and the Twins, they're pitching pretty sunny until it turned gray. And
no. Yeah, we're doing this without DiNardo tonight. He's got his stream privileges removed.
Now, wait a minute. No one's done that to me before. I do that to them.
No, that's awful. That was that was planned, so you had plenty of time to figure out that was terrible and that you shouldn't say it.
I come prepared. Always. But no, seriously, for real, to get back to this, like, I mean, it was a perfect game through 5 innings.
Yeah.
Mitch Keller was pitching well. It was one of those games where like it's nice to see Mitch Keller kind of back. Like he's pitching well. It's just the other thing is the Pirates offense is terrible. Sonny Gray's pitching, and you know how good he's been anyways. Like you expected this to probably if Mitch Keller was pitching well, a pitcher's duel. Right. And then like I said, it was 5, actually 5.1 perfect, right? And then that's Jack Swinski made the strikeout 5.1. And then that's when things turned around. And holy hell, it turned around in a big way.
Don't say his name tonight. Can we just not? Can we just not?
Though he got on base 3 times. Like he did walk 3 times. Credit where credit's due.
He did walk 3 times, but he also kind of misplayed a ball.
Yeah. But we'll get past that. But anyways, I mean, kudos Sonny Gray. Again, good pitcher. He did his job.
He's having a phenomenal season. He really is.
Of course.
And his control is I haven't watched any of his starts this year, but if I'm gandering to say that he's getting there because his control is absolutely pinpoint. I don't know any other of his stats other than the ERA, but good Lord, he could just absolutely dot anything he wanted tonight. I mean, it was 3 he could throw 4 straight breaking pitches all in the same exact place on the opposite corner.
Yep. And he had what? Well, I guess it was overall he had 7 Ks and 6.2. But didn't he have 7 and 5? Like, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Sawinski has 7 strikeout in the 5.1.
Yep.
So I mean, like he was dealing that whole time, and then things kind of unravel for him. I mean, he pitched still a good game, but I think also in the other sense, like we should definitely talk about as good as he was pitching. Right. I know the offense wasn't there, but Mitch Keller pitched a hell of a game. He did everything he needed to do to keep this team in the game to try to win, which of course they did. But yeah, Mitch Keller, 6 innings pitched, 2 earned, 12 strikeouts,
1 walk,
7 hits. Like this was, I'm not going to say it, but this is one of those starts like, okay, is Mitch Keller back? You wanted to see this type of start sometime soon. He's been pitching rather, I'm not going to say poorly, but certainly not what you've wanted to see.
You want to see him string a few good starts together, and this start and his last start, that's Well, it's a start, I guess.
That's fair. It's a start to hopefully the finish to a strong season.
Right. Because he started off, he was so good in April and May. It got a little rocky, and then it got a little more rocky. With it, I mean, he wasn't exactly pitching awfully. He had a few good starts mixed in there, but it was like a very obvious, like he wasn't pitching the same.
Very much so. Speaking of not pitching the same, something I want to point out here. Very, very high cutter usage today. 32 pitches using the cutter, but also didn't use the curveball once, didn't use a changeup once. Right? We talk about the six
Yeah, I guess he didn't.
Pitch mix he usually uses, right?
Right.
Today, cutter, sinker, four-seamer, and sweeper. Only 4 pitches. And again, cutter was his most by far. He used it 33% of the time. So like the pitch mix was a bit different. So like I'm kind of focused on that. Was it just game plan, or is this let me switch things up to get me back right?
Yeah, I guess he didn't. Wow. Okay, I totally missed that. I'm sure because I was like, because I was trying to remember, did he throw a curveball in there? I was like, no, he didn't.
Yeah. And that's a good pitch by him. And like I want to say, with that said, you're like 18 whiffs, 38% whiff rate on the night. Like he just looked. I mean, obviously you have 12 strikeouts, you're probably gonna have a pretty decent whiff rate. But yeah, like he looked really good out there today.
And the really encouraging thing for me was he got into that jam in the 6th. Right?
Ooh, yeah.
Hold on, let me scroll to the exact. Yeah, so Jorge Polanco walked, Correa singled, Max Kepler singled, Run didn't score. He struck out Royce Lewis, Donovan Solano, and Joey Gallo, all swinging.
That was a huge inning because we talked about, again, put on the post-game hat, right? You're doing the show. You already endured the 5.1. Now the offense came. There's a lead. It sounds like, oh, maybe there's going to be a positive show. And then Mitch Keller puts 3 on with no outs. And you say, well, it's the Pirates. They're going to lose this. We've seen this. Let's pre-record the post-game again, right? Part 2 of the pre-recording, right? We know how it's going to go. And Mitch Keller pulls it out of the hat. He says,
post-game version 1.1.
There you go. But yeah, Mitch Keller goes and 3 straight strikeouts. You know, like this is the.
And that strikeout to Gallo, it was very obvious. You know, this is my last batter. I am going to just rear back and fire a couple of fastballs in there, and you're not going to hit it.
That's fair. That's fair.
And that's how he's found his success, is letting his stuff play in the zone. When he is on, that is how he finds success.
Absolutely. For sure. And that's what I was like saying. Like, I think we're starting to get to a point where we're going to stop talking about this, but this is once again those moments where old Mitch Keller doesn't get through that. The new and improved Mitch Keller says, right, I'm going to dig down. I'm going to throw you what I got. You're not going to hit this, and challenge them. And he gets out of it. So again, like you said, like it was a start to a bad inning, but the way he finished it made you feel really, really good.
Yep.
So, again, very, very good start for Mitch Keller. Hopefully, as we talked about, this is the start to hopefully ending the season rather strong. But like, let's get back to this offense too. It came out in a pretty big way, a little less than half the game, but it came out in a big way that time. Just to say, right, we talked about Jack Swinski. He had 3 walks. He was on base 3 times, but again, talk about credits due. G1 Bay, he was on base 3 times as well.
This version of G1 Bay is, when the Pirates get this version of G1 Bay, he can make a significant impact on the game. When he's getting on base, when he is driving the ball down the line, when he is slapping it into the gaps, he's a good player. It's the problem is getting this version of G1 Bay consistently. Yep. Because for a lot of the times you're getting a guy who's not really driving the ball and is making a lot of mistakes on the field that he doesn't really need to make.
And on the
Because
opposite
when he's doing what he did tonight, obviously I don't think he didn't have a stolen base, did he? Because I don't think he did. Because I missed about an inning there. But when he's playing like this, he's utilizing the tools that he has. And that's big for him. Because the way he plays, he kind of hasn't been. Despite the 20 steals.
Before he got demoted, we were talking about, we know he's fast, right? We know the weapons, like you said, using his weapons and his tools. But how many times was he being too aggressive, getting thrown on the bases, right? Like he wasn't using his speed to be an advantage. Today, that first run he scored, I mean, he gets there because he's so fast. Like he scores on that play because of his speed. I don't know if any other person on this team scores in that situation. So again, his speed showing up there. And right, like you talked about with the gap power, they mentioned, I guess I could look it up, but they mentioned that ball he hit today would have been out in PNC Park as well, like 10 rows deep.
Yeah, no, I kind of I don't get to see Target Field a lot because AL Central's just the division that it's the Phantom division to me. I don't really watch like any games from it. The Twins and the Royals especially, I don't get to catch many games of, which is weird because I like watching games at Target Field. I think it's a fine stadium, but I didn't realize how deep the right field line is. That's 339 down the left field line. I'm sorry. That's 339 down the left field line. It's 411 to the right of to the left of center. It plays pretty deep for right-handed hitters.
Yeah.
And that was an opposite field poke from him.
Yep. So like again, if this was a home game, that's a home run. We've talked a little bit, like he has potentially like double-digit home run power. If he'll get there and use, if his approach, if he wants to hit home runs and such, what I mean? If he's not slap hitting the ball all the time, he could do so. But yeah, like that would have been a home run.
The thing that bothered me tonight was the bunt.
I didn't see that. I missed a few innings also.
Like I understand it, but like I hate the bunt. I know Bay is gonna do it because he is just so damn fast that if he places it even remotely in the right place, he's getting on base. But if you're gonna go for it, you got to get it down. That's how I feel about it. I know he's been pretty all right at getting it down, but it's just this team has failed to bunt so many times that I've got PTSD with it at this point. You've got to get it down if you're going to try and do it.
What's funny about that is I feel like just, not even talk about this year, but like that just seems like it's a Pirate thing all the time. Like, why are we always talking about this team can't bunt? I feel like year in and year out.
It's weird.
Just one of those things that carries over, right? It's like it's always the Pirates' way.
They never have a first baseman. They can't bunt.
Right. Check. It's the Pittsburgh.
Yeah, check.
But no, fair point. But yeah, like I said, a really good game for G1 Bay today. Not a good game for Brian Reynolds, who went over 5 with 3 strikeouts. I mean, he has been hot, right? Today certainly wasn't one of those games. But Andrew McCutchen, still
5 RBIs.
Connor, did you know?
Yeah. No. I think it was literally the pitch before where I tweeted out Andrew is due. and then he hits a 438-foot upper deck opposite field bomb that is still orbiting Target Field. Anything that goes that far should have a stewardess on it. I mean, any adjective or saying you want to go, because man, does Kutch have some opposite field power.
Well, yeah, we know that, and the thing is, he hasn't shown that in quite some time. That's one of the things about Andrew McCutchen. I've been a big proponent of him being the leadoff spot. Like he should definitely, and one of the reasons also is because he's not really hitting for power. So like, don't put him at the 3 spot, but he's still walking at an incredible rate. His on base is still good. So like, have him at leadoff. So like, with that said, that home run was was huge today, just in that sense. I mean, that was his first
Also,
home
just to
run
like get
since
him some.
June 30th.
Also, just to get him some more protection in the lineup, because let's be perfectly honest about this. Our 3-hitter doesn't have protection most nights. Most nights.
Yeah,
Because
I was gonna say today.
Because I mean, we've seen Henry Davis there, but Henry Davis is having his rookie struggles, and we talked about that last night.
Right.
You know, Jack Sawinski is a whole other can of worms. Connor Joe's fine, but in no universe is he your cleanup hitter, right? So the 3-hitter is just not getting protection, and that's where Kutch has been hitting. So, in all fairness to him,
yeah, no, I seriously, I mean, this is one of the things like we talk about again with Kutch. That's a fair point. The way Hayes is heating up, and they have actually dropped Jack Swinsky down the lineup. Finally, maybe he gets a little bit more protection. As long as Hayes consistently stays there, which, by the way, as we're talking about players, Hayes also another multi-hit game today, 2 for 5. But yeah, Andrew McCutchen still been getting on base, hasn't been really hitting the ball, hasn't really been driving the ball. There's some concerns in that sense, but today 2 for 5, that monster home run. So like, yeah, maybe this kind of gets him going.
Well, he's been better as of late. I really do feel like the off days they've been giving him really have thrown him off. I know he's dealt with some injuries this year. I know he's 36, but I also know that he's not currently hurt. Right. And it's a little perplexing that the amount of off days they've been giving him. And it really felt like, because he had a couple of games where it was like 3 hits, 4 hits. And then they like gave him it was right before the Milwaukee series, I think, that it was just like, it really felt like he was feeling it. He was getting his timing back for hitting, and they just gave him an off day. And it kind of set him back a little bit, I felt like.
Right. And on top of that, still hates the shortstops and third basemen because
oh my god,
he has still been hitting the ball incredibly hard to the left side, and like they're just making monster plays and getting him out.
Austin Riley is like,
yes,
Austin Riley should send Andrew McCutchen like a good bottle of tequila or something.
Right. So, like you're saying, there were certainly
bourbon room.
There were certainly signs, but yeah, when you hit 438, there's no cheating. There's no one that's going to make a good play on that. You're rounding those bases anywhere you go.
Yeah, nobody's catching that one.
Right. So, big again. Mitch Keller did what he needed to keep this team into the game, but the offense seems like that's something that's always, I feel like a lot of times we're talking about someone pitching a good game, but yet, or no, someone pitching an okay game, whatever, but like the offense doesn't show up anyway. So like, it's not really that pitcher's fault. Today, the offense actually showed up for the pitcher, for Mitch Keller. So yeah, again, Andrew McCutchen, a big part of that. But again, going down to Ke'Bryan Hayes, like his hot streak he's still kind of here. We're waiting, cautiously optimistic, I think, right? We're waiting for, right.
Bucko Mike
is 2 lucky hits.
He's so mad. He's so mad Hayes is doing well.
But like, honestly, he's done this before, so that we're waiting, like, I don't think anyone's going to be surprised if you see Ke'Bryan Hayes go into a slump and not be productive. We're hopeful he's not. And so far, he's still continuing it. So 2 solid hits today with an RBI. And then outside of that, Jason DeLay with a multi-hit game also. Yeah. He led off that inning with a double. He went 2 for 3 today with a walk. Like I jokingly said today, but it's not really a joke. I mean, like, before Endy and Henry Davis got called up, Austin Hedges still wasn't the best catcher on the team.
Yeah, no, it was. And I mean, I understand DeLay was like really, really slumping. I also understand he gives like 0 power other than like the occasional gapper that he hits. But not to revisit this again, but why on earth was this guy not starting over Hedges? Because DeLay he's pretty good at the stuff that Hedges was supposedly here for too.
Right. I think that's why
you want to talk about a developmental success story, right?
That's fair.
Right? Because at this point, I know Jason DeLay's skills are pretty limited. I know he's probably not going to put together much of a career. He might be, there's an off chance that he puts together a long career as a backup catcher in this league. I don't really see that happening. But this guy wasn't expected to be anything. He was literally hours away from telling the Pirates that he was going to go retire and pursue other things in life. He was the bullpen catcher in AAA. And he's kind of producing at the major league level now.
No, that's absolutely fair. And that's one, like, I know it's been more.
I know it's a stretch to call that a developmental success story.
No,
but
I don't think it is.
It kind of is.
I don't think it is at all.
Especially because of how good he is defensively. Like,
that's where I want to go.
I know he has his issues with blocking, but he's a very good framer. I think he handles the pitching staff very well.
Yes. I'm going to say this part, right? And like you said, the development part, I think it absolutely is. Like, the fact that he has improved so much defensively is part of that. I think what might hinder him, and so, like, he's going to be a guy, if robo umps do come into play, that it hurts, because the comp and person I want to kind of put out there, because you said about longevity and how long he might last, it's still small sample. Like, if he's still doing this next year, I could feel more confident. But, you know, I've always said ingest my catcher, right? I've kind of liked Jason DeLay for what he is. And I guess, like, what I'm saying is, I think he could make out like a Chris Stewartish type of career.
Yeah,
like,
no,
when I look at him,
Chris Stewart.
Yeah, like Chris Stewart was like your perfect second catcher. Like, he's good defensively. He's not going to hurt you. He's a singles man, right? He's going to get like decent average. He's not going to hit much power. Like, every year, Ryan and I and Orson and I, we had our over-unders. You have a 0.5 home runs this year, right? Because, like, if he hits one home run, it's a big deal. Like, that was Chris Stewart. And that's kind of like what Jason DeLay is. Like, he's a singles guy, maybe some gap power here and there, like the double today. But he's good enough defensively. He's good enough with the bat. Like, if that's going to be your backup catcher, I think he can carve out a role to have a Chris Stewartish type of career until Robots come, and that's not really that valuable anymore. But even then it might, you know, I mean, but that's how I do look. Like, I don't hate Jason DeLay as a backup catcher on this team at all, but
I hated that he was here over the two other guys. I hated that both Austin Hedges and Jason DeLay were here over the other guys. I don't hate Jason DeLay. If Henry's going to be your right fielder, and he is, and we went into that yesterday. That's a whole nother story about why they're still doing that with him.
Right.
But if Jason DeLay is your backup, that's fine. I like Jason DeLay as a backup.
That's all I'm at with this. You know, now what I will say is I don't like how Endy gets so many days off due to this. Like, but he could also play. Like, it's not Jason DeLay's fault. Like, I'm fine with Jason DeLay getting the amount of starts he gets per se. I just wish they would utilize Endy in another way to get him more starts also. That's really what it comes down to. But like, I am perfectly comfortable with Jason DeLay as a backup catcher.
It's weird. I think looking at the totality of it, it's not as bad as it seems. I think that's because the way that they're doing it is that the day before the day game after the night game, that's the day that Endy has off. That's how they've handled it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he plays the day game. So he's not actually... When Hedges was here, he was getting some off days that I really, really disagreed with. And I still think you could work him into more games at first base, especially with that position being so...
I think tonight's like a perfect example of that.
Right.
Instead of Palacios in right and Connor at first, why not Endy at first and Joe in right?
Yeah.
Like, why are we having Palacios see the field over Endy? Is more or less what it comes down to.
Right.
Yeah. So that's all. But again, we don't need to go that much deeper into Jason DeLay, but you know, I've said he's my catcher. Didn't Chris Stewart but like, I have a little bit of love with Jason DeLay.
Didn't Chris Stewart hit 300 one year?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know he did for a fact.
Because I remember that.
When or what?
That was 2015, right? Or was it 2014?
I'm looking up right now, just so we can, for funsies. Oh, you know what? He didn't. 294 though. In 2014.
Because I know he was
289 in 15.
Damn. Because I remember him being above 300 at one point, like late in the season.
Yeah, it probably was that year. He probably had like went 0 for 3 because it's limited at bats. You know, like the 3 sort of put him down like 11 points. But yeah, I mean, like when you look at Chris Stewart, like for his career, 63 rated runs created plus, like he wasn't that well with the bat, but he had season like 100, 83, 66, 59, 65. Like I can see Jason DeLay doing that with good defense. You're a backup catcher in this league for probably a pretty long time doing that.
Yeah.
But anyways, I don't know, man. Like outside of that, Peguero's loving the Twins defense, by the way, or lack of.
Yeah. He had
one hit.
That's one hit. I remember. I thought he had 2.
He got on base by an error, and then got on base because Sawinski, right? He got into the
right, yeah.
Sawinski was, which I do like that. Sawinski was running no slide, just running directly. I mean, looking like the Steelers were playing tonight, and Sawinski was the fullback. Just put his helmet down, which caused the errant throw, went high, and Peguero ended up being safe because of it.
That's one of the things that I've actually liked that they've taught players to do. Because you're just you can't break up the double play by tackling the guy anymore. So make yourself as big of a target as possible. Protect your head, you know, obstruct the throw.
That last part too. Make sure you protect your head. which he was. He saw Sawinski. It was down. Like I said, he's looking like a fullback and is going up there. But I do. That's smart baseball. I do like that. And it worked. Like today was another example of how it worked.
It's worked a few times
earlier, and it bounced off his shoulder, right? Like they threw the ball and it hit him in the shoulder and deflected, and that's how. So like this has been a couple opportunities where you're seeing it work. So like
rare Pirates instruction paying off.
There it is. Can't bunt, but just lower your helmet and hit the hole. David Bednar must have taught him that. But yeah, so I don't know. I guess looking at this team, the game today, anything else that you really, really wanted to talk about?
Holderman looked pretty shaky. He did leave the game with an injury, so we'll see how that progresses. Forearm cramp, which is a little concerning, maybe. As long as it's just cramping, I'm not really that worried about it. But it was obvious he was pulling some of his pitches. I think it was bothering him a little bit.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was, especially towards the end there before he got pulled.
Yeah, and I thought it was a little weird that they went out there and pulled him. Didn't they pull him mid batter? Or was I just not watching? I could have sworn he threw a pitch and then they pulled him.
I can't remember if they did now. Chat, help us out.
Chat, help us out. Because I don't pay attention. To be fair, I was too busy getting ready for this. So,
yeah, sure you were.
No, I was legitimately.
Stop lying. But anyways, no, you're right, and I think I'm okay. I feel like it's probably like you said, like just a cramp. They said it was pretty hot. It was humid. They showed the banana in the dugout, right? Which again, the potassium you use for cramps. Like maybe it probably was just a legit. It's cramping. But right. Hopefully it is, and we'll find out later.
I liked what I saw from Hatch. I did. I know this is a pretty underwhelming Twins offense.
It's still good enough.
But he showed a lot of confidence in his stuff tonight. He really did.
And it's not the first time.
He got behind in counts and still had faith in his breaking stuff and located.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know about him, but like that was, hey, maybe there's something here.
It is kind of weird. We talk about Oscar Marine. We talk about the pitching, coaching, and development, and this and that, right? And how you have some success stories, but like not enough. And I was given the benefit of doubt at one point because of, Quintana and Keller and whatnot. And then this year things started falling apart. Like, no, I'm done with this. But then they go and they get King Baraki and they get Andre Jackson, right? And now here's Hatch, and it's like, all right, is something cooking? I don't know. It's still a very small sample, but like you mentioned, like so far what I've seen, some Hatch, I'm paying attention.
I still think it does. They're well intentioned with it, but I think they do mess with some guys a little too much.
Fair.
I do think they're venturing a little too close in both the offense. This applies to Andy Haynes too, and my opinion on Haynes has not changed. That they're venturing like close to the territory of what got Ray Searage fired, where they're trying to make everybody the same guy.
I agree. And what's just ironic in that is that was the talk of the town when the Oscar Marine signing happened. When they hired him to be the pitching coach, is how I am going to be individual. Like, I'm going to bring the best out of each player, right? We're going to find what works for them and bring the best.
The player-centric, the player-centric culture, right?
Yeah, but like it just seems like it's molded more towards, all right, everyone's going to throw the slider, everyone's going to throw this, and then outside of that, maybe we'll work on some other things. But
yeah, the market inefficiency is the slider, so let's just throw more sliders.
Right. But with that said, like Thomas Hatch today, he pitched well enough. And again, we're talking 7 swings, 5 whiffs on that, right? 2 on the cutter, 2 on the changeup, 1 on the sinker. The stuff looked pretty decent today. The stuff looked pretty decent from the timeout before I saw him too. Again, it's just a couple outings. Like it's small sample in the sense that, you've seen him, but I'm willing to watch. So far, so good. Let's see if there's something more out of him. Because again, with Baraki and again, like Andre Jackson, there's, like the numbers don't support that he's really that good. Like you look at ERA, but like when you see him pitch and this stuff, there's something there. There's something that I like out of him. And I can't say that so far yet, with Hatch, but I'm watching.
They've done a really good job this year of just like avoiding the pitfalls that they have in previous years of when they really just need somebody, that they just go and get some, frankly, dog water pitcher who does not deserve to be in MLB. I feel like they've done a better job at identifying players that, like, all right, there is something here, instead of just, let's just shove this guy out there and DFA him the next day.
100% fair. Last year before, whatever it may be, the guys that we're talking right now, like if you remove the names from them, right, just player A, B, and C, they were just non-MLB, non-competitive guys, get innings, right? I mean, game over. They're giving up 7 earned in 0.2 innings. And now, even though you look, you're like scratching your head because, okay, this guy was, DFA by the Dodgers with a 6 ERA, and this guy has been in the minors all year and this and that. You see them here now, and you're looking and like maybe there's something to it. Something I keep like going back on and talking about is like when you look at the Orioles and the success they have. Granted, their farm system was top notch. They have a lot of talent come to the farm, but I felt like one of the biggest keys to their success was they built a very, very competent and now a very good bullpen, and most of it came from nothing. Absolutely, a lot of waiver claims, DFA guys. Right, you made a trade last year for your closer at the time, and you get a guy who's even better right now than he was, in that sense. And
that trade was crazy because Hanrahan was hurt. He was never the same after that injury.
What do you mean? No, I'm talking about the Orioles.
Oh,
you're good.
Sorry.
You're good.
Sorry, no, I was looking at the box. I was looking at the 2022 Pirates roster.
But the Orioles put together one of the top bullpens right now in baseball. And when you look how all of them required, it was really moves like these for the most part. So again, I'm not putting a whole lot out there, and like I'm not telling you this is going to be a good bullpen, but this is how you do it. And this is why we talk about, arms are a dime a dozen. Closers aren't so much, but like relievers are in the sense. This is how you can put together a really, really good bullpen. And to your point, like you said, these guys, like you look, there's something there. I'm not sure how much, but there's something there where guys in the past, there wasn't anything there.
Yeah, like Miguel Del Pozo,
Yes.
there was just like Jared Eichhoff. There was nothing there. It's
Right.
funny that I made that mistake because that also applied to the Joel Hanrahan trade. They got Mark Melancon in that deal.
Mhm.
And Hanrahan was hurt at the time, and he was never the same.
Right.
I'm not even sure. Did he even pitch a full season again?
Oh, no. I think it was like 4.1 innings or something like that.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Boy,
But
did that
granted,
work out.
I guess the best way is like how we talk about O'Brien. I'm cautiously optimistic about the bullpen right now.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic that if they get how do I phrase this? If they get guys with talent in the bullpen, I'm cautiously optimistic they can make it work because it hasn't been good, but they've gotten more than expected out of a few different guys this year.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think one of them definitely like Perdomo. Like Perdomo,
yeah.
You can hang your hat on him as like a success story also if he finishes out the way he's been pitching. And then right, like we're talking about like the guys right now, like with Brucky, and still there's more to see about Andre Jackson, but like these guys you've seen recently Hatch now, there's some intrigue and makes you feel a little more comfortable if even just a couple of these guys they've plucked right now can be something because you already have your Majinskis, like you have guys in the system already to come up next year to be part of that.
Kyle Nicholas, he's throwing gas out of the pen in AAA.
Who's that?
Kyle Nicholas.
Oh
no, AA. Sorry. Wait, no,
he's in AAA now. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But that's also the thing. Like he should have been a reliever a while ago. Like,
yeah, no, that should have been a move.
Finally, they're making that call.
I think they kind of hung on to because there was so much upside there if he worked out. They kind of hung on to that for a little longer than they should have because it was pretty apparent for like a decent. To their credit, new to the organization. He wasn't in the organization from the start of his career. Maybe if he had been, they make that move a little sooner.
Fair. But either way, good game. We talked in the series preview that if the Pirates could sneak one out from Pablo Lopez or Sonny Gray, there's a chance to take this series because we know who's pitching tomorrow, and that's very, very good for the Pirates. Now, of course, they'll get perfect at games against him.
Yeah.
But no, like if they could sneak a win out, that's what they do tonight. Yeah. But they do. So they sneak out a win against Sonny Gray. Now they go for, the game 3 tomorrow, the potential to win this series against the Twins.
And tomorrow is the day game, correct?
Yes. And you know what else is tomorrow?
Yep. Paul Skeens. That's
also Paul Skeens Day.
Is that the night game? Is Bradenton going in the evening tomorrow?
I don't think. I think there's day also.
I'll have to decide what to watch. Do I watch Osvaldo Bido pitch or do I watch Paul Skeens?
Why not both? Anyways, so let's get out of here. I do appreciate everyone for watching as always. And of course, we'll be back tomorrow to talk about the game 2 victory. Well, I guess the game 3 victory, but
no, they'll lose tomorrow, and we'll still talk about this game. They'll lose in some horrific fashion tomorrow, and we'll just replay this broadcast.
Tomorrow you're gonna get the pre-recorded one.
more Paul Skeens coverage, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about Paul Skeens. By the way, so chat says noon for Bradenton tomorrow. So actually, you'll see that before the game. So we'll have Paul Skeens right up into the Pirate game then.
Yeah.
There you go, Connor. All right. We're out. Thank you for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Peace.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.